Hi, this is Amritan Arora with ThePrint. We are here at the 17th edition of the Jaipur Literature Festival, and with me is a veteran journalist, Neerja Chowdhury. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with us. Ma'am, before we get on to uh, details about events from Indian politics in the past, I would like to get your opinion on a few contemporary recent developments. To begin with, Mr. Nitish Kumar recently jumped ship and joined the NDA, returned to the NDA rather. There have been external pressures on other leaders of India bloc, particularly Mr. Hemant Soren. There have been external pressures on the Aam Aadmi Party. Then there are also allies within the coalition who are sending mixed signals on seat sharing. Do you believe that there is a possibility of the alliance itself imploding before the onset of the elections?
The alliance is in a disarray. That is absolutely clear. After the exit of Nitish Kumar and him joining the BJP group again, NDA, and he was the architect of this alliance. He's the one who initiated the process. Of course, the thinking had gone on, but he took it and called everybody to Patna. So, yes, it's been a huge setback. As for Nitish Kumar, he has been chosen political relevance for how long we don't know over his credibility. And now people are, I was telling somebody, I was at a family havan recently where the Pandit was giving this shlok, Ramayan, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Aayi, Pran Jaye, Par Vachan Na Jaye. And then he said, this is how important the word was. You can sacrifice your life for it also. And then he added, what Nitish Kumar has done, don't ever do it. So Nitish Kumar has entered the religious discourse now. That's something that should really trouble him. But that apart, he's chosen political relevance. And as far as the BJP is concerned, getting Nitish Kumar over weakens India alliance, number one. It cements its own caste base. Nitish Kumar represents the Kurmi. He's been had an appeal. I don't know whether he still does amongst the extremely backward, the Mahadalits, the Pasminda Muslims. So it will cement that constituency, and having a government in power when the Lok Sabha elections take place in Bihar is an added plus. So, and of course, the BJP wants to reconstitute the NDA again. They want to go for two-thirds majority, not just a clear majority. For whatever they want to do, carry forward their constitutional and legislative agenda. So both sides, politically you can understand. But what it does to Nitish Kumar's legacy, starting off as Shasan Babu and ending up as Paltu Kumar.
Uh, my next question is about the BJP. There has been this widely discussed notion that this mix that the BJP has put out in the discourse of Hindutva and hyper nationalism, and also a sense of perhaps one would call it invincibility of the prime minister himself, of his image as the Teflon coated leader. Do you think that this mix that the BJP has put out in the picture uh, has this made the BJP undefeatable?
As of today, it looks like that because the opposition has almost given up. I think the opposition could still bring down the BJP's tally in 2024 if they determinedly go in for one-on-one seat sharing. They had earmarked 400 Lok Sabha constituencies last year for one-on-one contest. But somewhere in the last 3 months, things have, just been declining for whatever reason. Now, the BJP, Narendra Modi to remain popular at the end of 10 years is not a short time. I don't remember any other prime minister. Nehru, yes, from 52 to 62, but 62 was getting very frail. And of course, the Chinese, he won the election, Chinese aggression took place after that. Indira Gandhi from 67 to 77 routed all over North India. including her own seat. Manmohan Singh was the other prime minister for 10 years. 2004, they came to power. By 2014, the Grand Old Party was down in the dumps, 44 seats. And here is this man at the end of 10 years, popular. Why? You absolutely right. Hindutva, giving a sense to the Hindus, unabashedly, I'm proud to be Hindu. Number two, as you said, hyper nationalism, national pride. He's given, what is Labharti, social welfare scheme. People have got money in their hands or grain in their hands or something in their hand. They feel, we are getting it. Then, of course, he's a strong leader, tough leader, popular leader with no family in tow. But most important, I feel, he's got the pulse of the people, of an aspirational India who feel I'm small town, but given opportunity, I can make it big. This man has made it big. So somewhere he's sold dreams, and that India can achieve great heights. It's good to feel Indian. It's not a gloom and doom story that he's dishing out as the opposition does. So, but I keep saying this, we haven't fully understood this phenomenon called Narendra Modi because he is a response to a changing India today. And that India, how it's changing at the ground, we still need to comprehend more fully.
Ma'am, you have covered Indian politics for several decades now. You're one of the leading authorities on the subject itself. Uh, what are your views on the new law that Parliament recently passed, excluding the Chief Justice of India from the process to select the Chief Election Commissioner and essentially giving a 2:1 upper hand to the executive, the government in power to appoint election commissioners? Do you think it will dilute the credibility of the election commission, even if not, even if not actually in principle?
I think it's not a good move. I think, yes, it will dent the credibility of the election commission. As it is, people are doubting, why is the commission acting in a particular way in many instances. And ultimately, elections, if you talk to ordinary people, elections are the heartbeat of Indian democracy. मुझे किसी ने कहा ड्राइवर ही से बाकी सब मीडिया का फ्रीडम ये ठीक है जुडिशरी होना चाहिए पार्लियामेंट होना चाहिए बट अगर इलेक्शंस को हाथ लगाया तो भगत सिंह खड़े हो जाएंगे now whether true or not I think so if you give the sense that the executive is taking more and more power in its hands you don't even leave the fig leaves, which are very important. And I think our democratic institutions need to be strengthened, not weakened.
Ma'am, I know you're pressed for time, so I'll quickly ask you a couple of questions. You can respond briefly. In your reading of Indian politics over the last 7 decades, who, in your opinion, is the one political leader who's very underrated, like a leader who perhaps would have risen to one of the top posts but did not get the chance to actually rise up the ranks?
Oh, so somebody who didn't become prime minister.
Prime Minister or perhaps the Union Cabinet was very promising, a good statesman, a principled politician.
The two people India would have liked to have seen as prime ministers, Pranab Mukherjee and Lal Krishan Advani, who didn't make it.
Ma'am, my next question to you is we have seen not just over the recent few decades, but then we can say perhaps from the very beginning of this century, there has been a response from governments around the world to curb democratic instincts. Can you, in your memory, recall a time in Indian politics when principled politics was appreciated and an elected government's quote unquote tacit moves to suppress democratic instinct was looked down upon?
Look, I think initial years after the independence, yes, that was there. I think the turning point came with Indira Gandhi when she made art and science of realpolitik. She was a real practitioner of, as I said, Samdam Dandabhed politics, where power for the sake of power mattered, where going beyond your party was okay, when you could get the best of your opponents, all that she's admired for. So I think the turning point was during Indira Gandhi's time on the nature of politics changing. And slowly, it's not an overnight phenomenon. It's slowly been happening. And it also reflects what is happening in society around. And if ordinary people, you and I and people like us said, ye nahi chahiye, enough, the politicians will have to change. We don't insist on this.
Ma'am, my final question to you is there has been a sense of unrest among opposition leaders in particular that over the past few years there has been a this is their allegation, of course, that there has been a deliberate attempt to undermine parliament as an institution. And parliament, of course, as all of us agree, is the backbone of Indian democracy. Do you agree with some of these allegations? And if there is indeed a sense that Parliament as an institution is being undermined, what, in your opinion, can the government do to restore trust in the institution?
You know, Parliament has been undermined now for decades. As I say, it's a slow process. When the UPA was in power, the BJP used to not allow sessions. Sessions have on the question of 2G scam, for instance. Entire session was wiped out. Now the Congress is doing this. Parliament is not a place for street politics. Parliament is for debate. It is for holding the mirror up to the government, holding them to account. And somewhere, it's taken the place of street politics. So I think both sides need to sit down and think. In the past, also, such exercises have been undertaken. Again, a week later, 10 days later, they go back to what was. And also, what is worrying is that so much bitterness has crept into the ruling side and the opposition side. I think in the past, there were across party relationships. The leader of the opposition could pick up the phone and talk to the prime minister directly. And when there was an impasse crisis, they could somehow find the way out. I remember, I cite this instance. I've seen Pramod Mahajan as parliamentary affairs minister under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. You know, days had gone by, opposition was doing halla gulla. Then he got them, I saw, heard him in Central Hall. Bas ho gaya na. Now let's sit down. You've sent your message. Now let's sit on the table and find out what do you want really. And a way has to be found out. So the government has to take the initiative. There's no doubt about that. But the opposition also has to play ball.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out the time out of your busy schedule to speak with us.